Hello students, how are you? I am Manuku sir and going to start a new topic, the reign of terror. It is taken from the first chapter of class 9 history book, French Revolution. Students, you have to know what is called reign and what is called terror. Reign that means rule and terror that means like terrorism. First point, the period from 17th century 93 to 17th century 94 is referred to as the reign of terror. So you have to question what is called reign of terror. Just you have to remember the time period only. Okay. Number two, Robespierre followed a policy of severe control and punishment. During the time of Maximilien Robespierre, France was totally controlled by him, and he used punishment to rule for his country. Some people he considered them enemies who were against the republic. Okay, who are they? They are ex nobles. Nobles, that means higher class people, you can say, and clergy who involved in church. Number of the other political parties were also enemies according to him. Even number of his own party who did not agree with his methods. Some members of his parties did not believe or did not agree with his concepts. Then they were arrested, imprisoned, and then tried by a revolutionary tribunal. Students, when the members of his party did not agree with him, they were arrested and sent to jail and made a punishment with the help of judgment. Students, you have to know what is called revolutionary tribunal. It is a kind of court in France that was established National Assembly in France. If the court found them guilty, they were guillotined. When the court saw that the arrested people or member did a wrong, they were guillotined or murdered. The students, you have to know what is called guillotine. The guillotine is a device consisting of two poles. Okay, and a blade with which a person is beheaded. That means guillotine is a kind of instrument. That instrument had two poles. Between two poles there was a blade. That blade was used to separate the head from the shoulder. It was discovered by Dr. Guillotine. Okay. Next point. Robespierre's government issued law placing a maximum ceiling on wages and prices. Maximilien Robespierre created new laws on wages of the workers or laborers and fixed price on selling articles also. Meat and bread were rationed. Flesh or meat and bread were given in the ration during his time. Peasants were forced to transport their grain to the cities and sell it at fixed prices by the government. Farmers were sent to the cities to sell their crops and it had fixed price. But now in a democratic country, according to our wish, we go to town or cities to sell our goods or crops. The use of more expensive white flour was forbidden. That means, according to their wish, they did not eat expensive white flour because Robespierre government wanted to show equality. All citizens were required to eat the plain de-egalite equal bread, a loaf made of whole wheat. All citizens had to eat equality bread. According to the direction of Maximilian Robespierre government. Equality was also sought to be practiced through form, a speech and address. When the citizens in France wanted to say something, they did not want to show higher or lower attitude according to their community status. Instead of the traditional monsieur, sir, and the madam, all France's men and women were henceforth citoyen and citoyenne. During his time, sir and madam, these two words were abolished or end. To show equality, he used for men citoyen and women for citoyenne. Churches were shut down and their buildings converted into barracks or offices. During his time, churches were closed and their building used for barracks for the soldiers and offices for the governmental works. Robespierre government persuaded his policies to relentlessly that even his supporters began to demand moderation. Robespierre government implement or applied his policies strictly. As a result, his supporters also did not tolerate his laws and they demanded to moderate his policies or laws. Finally, he was convicted by a court in July 1794 and arrested on the next day, sent to guillotine. Okay. At last, he was arrested in 1794 for the work of like criminal activities. And finally, he was murdered with the help of guillotine device or instrument. What was guillotine? I already told you. Next points or next topics, you can say topics. A directory rules France. Okay, first point. The fall of the Jacobin government allowed the wealthier middle class to seize power. When the Jacobins government ended their power, that time wealthier middle class took their positions and controlled all over the France. New constitution was introduced which denied the vote to non-propertiate section of society. Okay, when the convention government was created, that time above the 21 years all citizens were right to vote. Now for the new constitutions, okay, the people who had not mass property, they were banned for vote. It provided for two elected legislative councils. Students, during the time of Robespierre, only he ruled all over the France. Right now, for the new constitution, it had divided into two sections. Then this appointed a directory and executive. It has two sections, mainly directory and executive. An executive made up of 5 members. How many members did executive make? 5 members. Okay. This was mean as safeguard against the concentration of power in one man executive as under Jacobin. That means right now it has two sections for ruling the France, but during the time of Robespierre it had only one section, that means government. Only Robespierre made laws and implement among the citizen in France. However, the directors often clash with the legislative councils who then sought to dismiss them. I am going to discuss this point with the help of an example. Suppose in a family there are 3 brothers. When they do not respect each other and make a conflict among themselves always, their strength will be decreased or power will be decreased. Students, we know unity is strength, and in this situation another people will capture them for the lack of power. Similarly, this also happened for the new constitutions. Among the director and the legislative councils, they were always fought. Okay? And they became weak. The political instability of the director paved the way for the rise of the military director Napoleon Bonaparte. They became weak. As a result, the military director originated, whose name was Napoleon Bonaparte, and he controlled all over the France. Last point. Through all these changes in the form of government, the ideas of the freedom. Then the new concept came, freedom, and everything was changed. Then also came of equality before law, that means all the people are equal in front of law. Fraternity, fraternity that means brotherhood. They considered each citizens like brothers and sisters. Okay, remained inspiring ideals that motivated political movements in France. All this concept and all these ideas motivated the people in France and rest of the Europe, not only France and the rest of the part in the Europe during the following century, during the time of France Revolution. It has completed right now. Thank you for watching and wish a good day for you.